Hello everybody and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am the Outback Al.
I'm hot for justice.
And I'm NV Jitters.
And yeah, we're a little short today. You never quite know when to jump in, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, some people weren't able to make it. September's been a little bit trying for various reasons. Having some issues with that. So I should say, before anything else, we will not be doing Magia Record this week. I know we had to skip it last week as well, but we just decided at this point, we've done half the show as individual stuff. We're just going to do half the second half of the show, episodes 5 through 8, all in one big piece. And we're probably just going to do that the last Sunday of the month whenever we have another one going on. I think we're also going to do Star Wars Visions at that point. Because it's an anime, it's a property that we all like, and so that's gonna watch for that at the tail end of the month. Sorry, you're not gonna get to hear us talk about it immediately after it comes out the day before, but you know what? It's whatever. We'll talk about it in one big chunk, and it'll be fine. More importantly, what are we talking about today? This was the number 2 for both of you, wasn't it?
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you guys take it? What are we watching? What did we watch today?
Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, which I believe is Gav's favorite part.
Yeah.
And just so we recall, Envy, what one is your favorite part?
Part 3, Stardust Crusaders.
And I think the reason we decided to go with Part 4 is because we technically did Stardust Crusaders, the 93 version, back months ago. So, yeah. I guess why don't we just talk about what's your guys' why Jojo? I feel like that's just a good question in general. Why Jojo? Explain to me your fandom.
Well, I always describe Jojo to people who always ask me about Jojo as the best Hollywood B movie because when you get down
it's Evil
to
Dead
it,
2?
Is it considered a B movie?
Have you guys seen Evil Dead 2?
Yes, I have.
No.
Oh, finally, for once, someone gets my reference.
But yeah, it's just so. I mean,
bizarre.
Well, yes. I guess the best way I can describe why I like JoJo is that it knows exactly what it is, and it's not afraid to be what it is. Let's say you come for the memes, but then you stay for, this is actually pretty good. Yeah, it's a shonen, and it has, shonen elements in it, but it's not Dragon Ball Z. It's not One Piece. It's not Naruto. It's its own thing. It's its own unique thing.
I mean, it's kind of, to me, feels a little bit more like at least from some of the other things I saw, not so much this 3 episodes that we watched, but the previous ones like Stardust Crusaders, and I have seen the majority of part 1 and 2. It feels like a more comedic version of Fist of the North Star a little bit, which was coming out around the same time, I think, right?
I mean, the first manga, Phantom Blood, came out in 1987. I think by then, Fist of the North Star was already out. I don't know exactly when that came out.
It was 85, I think. I think the anime was coming out at that point.
Yeah. I would definitely say part 1 and 2 definitely feels like a comedic Fist of the North Star, but then obviously with part 3 they introduced the stands, and that completely changed everything about the series.
Just dominated it. Because, I do remember it was either through Anime Club or just through watching my roommate watch all of it in the dorm room. The big thing used to be Haman, and now it's very much not a thing anymore, I guess. Nope. Seems a bit of a shame to me. I don't have a big thing about this, but I'm just that's still a cool power set that you can use in conjunction with a stand, maybe. But I don't know if they ever explore that at all in later series. But
part 3 was the last time Haman was ever mentioned. Part 7 they do something similar to Haman called a spin, but it's not.
You told me that's an alternate universe though, so it's not it.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yes, they live up to the bizarre part of their name, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My guess is that Araki, the creator and writer, he probably thought he pushed himself with what he could do with Haman with part two, and then with
That's fair.
stands, it's endless. Like you can
Yeah, you're
make a
literally
stand
making up a new Pokemon with a new power every week if you want.
Yeah.
basically, yeah, basically.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I will say, as the parts go on, like parts four, there's a lot of crazy stands. Part five, there's a lot of crazy stands. Part six, I imagine there's going to be a lot of crazy stands. So
Yeah,
yeah,
It's like Persona.
I
I
mean,
haven't
that's
played that, but
yeah. I mean,
It's
Gab,
like
why do you love JoJo?
well, I didn't get into JoJo until like God, I don't even know what year it was, maybe like 2017 or something.
when did this run of JoJo start? Was that like 2014 or 15?
No, the first season, which covered Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency, came out in 2012.
Really? Wow, that's
Yep.
way old. This is
So,
almost 10 years old. A 10-year
yep,
old
the
series.
David production run will turn 10 next year.
Damn. Please continue,
Yeah.
Gav.
But yeah, I didn't get into it till like 2017, I want to say. And it was like I knew a lot of people that liked JoJo, and the person I was dating at the time liked JoJo, so they were like, "We're gonna watch JoJo together." So I was like, "Okay," I watched JoJo, and then it was just like, I was like, "Wow, I really enjoy this." It's wacky and very like, I guess like I was into Persona before I was into JoJo, and the stands reminded me of like personas. And so I was kind of like, oh yeah. And it's kind of weird because like the at least like for like like 3, 4, and 5, there are like some similarities between the like Persona games and the JoJo arcs. um it's very interesting. Like with part 3, you got the like tarot cards and stuff. I mean, you have tarot cards in like every like Persona game, but like it was like very like
But in Persona 3, they go to Egypt, right?
no.
Fight an
No.
immortal vampire that is stuck his head on
Yes.
top of your great grandfather or something.
I think I understand where Gav is coming from, because in Persona 3 the tone is a lot darker in comparison to 4 and 5, whereas Stardust Crusaders, yeah, it definitely, had its comedic moments, but Stardust Crusaders still was a end of the world type of story. Part 4 in both Persona and Part 4 and
JoJo.
Part 4 of
Dynamism Part
JoJo
4.
and part in Persona
Yeah.
4, I can't talk, is dealing with a serial killer in a small town. And
Okay.
Yep.
part 5 is, well,
Crime.
I don't know how-
gangs.
yeah, gangs, true.
Okay, so someone might have been drawing some inspiration because these manga have been around for a while. I know this particular one we saw today, Diamond is Unbreakable, is set in 1999,
Yes.
like
yeah.
12
was
years after
Ye-
Stardust.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. I don't know exactly when it was written, but yeah, I
I'm
think
sure
it
we can
was
look it up,
around
but yeah,
the late
it's-
90s. But
I mean, they
yeah.
seemed like, other than the period piece one that is the first one in the World War II, Part 2, they seem to be like contemporary for whenever they were like coming out. It feels like, at least. So just to be clear, you guys are saying that the series gets darker as it keeps going, but Part 2 with the actual Nazis was not dark at all.
Well,
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
well, it's funny because the Nazis weren't the main bad guy in part 2. That's
So
you actually
weird.
root. Yeah, you.
I do remember
act-
this.
You actually root for a Nazi, Stroheim.
Oh god, he was fun.
Yeah,
You hate to say it that you
unfortunately.
really like the Nazi as one of your favorite characters, but like, well, to be fair, he wasn't my favorite. I do remember. So, who's my favorite? JoJo's Joseph. I feel like what's everybody else's?
Yeah, Joseph's my favorite.
Surprisingly, Joseph isn't my favorite.
Okay.
I don't really know, to be honest, because I I like Jotaro, but then I also like Josuke, but then I also like Johnny. So it's like
Who the fuck is Johnny? We don't know who
Part
that
7.
is. That doesn't exist. Maybe it does. I don't know. What's Stone Ocean's coming out next, right?
Yes.
yeah.
I'm not in this, but I like know everything through like osmosis. So if I sound at all knowledgeable, I'm not.
You're basically like me with Dragon Ball. I've talked to my
Yeah.
friends through Dragon Ball where I know what each saga is.
You know who Cell and Boo and all those
Yeah.
people are, you know?
Yeah. But I don't know, like cuz I really like at first, like when I watched part like 3, I was like Jotaro is an ass, but then like as like I got to like watch more of it, I was like, oh, I like Jotaro a lot. But then when I watched part 4, I was like, but Josuke is such a cinnamon roll.
Cinnamon Roll who's very into his hair.
Yeah. And so there's that, and Johnny's just I don't want to say anything because I don't want to like spoil it, because like lots of people only read the anime or watch the anime and don't read the manga. So but yeah, I don't know, I guess like it's probably a tie for me between Jotaro and Josuke though. But
Okay. That is an interesting point though about reading the anime. Did you guys watch sub or dub?
I was always a sub guy.
Yeah.
well, when I watched the it the first time through, I watched the sub. I don't think the dub was out yet, like completed.
I mean, you guys are like fans who are gonna probably like watch part 6 like as it's coming out, so you're probably not gonna see dub for a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird
then-
because, like, for part 6, it's coming out worldwide at Netflix, and usually with Netflix outside of Japan, they try to.
They save it and then like release it all at once.
I doubt they're going to finish the full series though, because there'd be at least 39 episodes. So maybe they're just splitting it up into chunks or something like that.
Yeah.
Could we talk about... Well, I kind of want to say, I watched the dub, and I don't know that I can accurately judge it because I had to really cram for this because of a lot of stuff was going on this week, so I kind of had to watch it fast forward. Don't hate me. But, you know, everybody seemed to be doing good. I feel like I recognized a bunch of voices, and yet it was in fast forward. I'm like, I can't tell right away for sure. I'm sure I do. I know Matt Mercer plays Jotaro. But, there's a couple others. Short guy.
I watched the dub this time.
Yeah. Who's the short guy? I've heard him
Koichi.
before. Yeah. Who's plays him?
Anyone
know off the top of their head?
No. Zach Aguilar.
Is that the guy?
Yeah, that's what it says.
The reason you recognize him, he's
Is
the
that
dub.
Deku?
Well, no. He's the dub of
No.
Tanjiro from Demon Slayer.
I thought
That's
that
why.
might be it, but I was like, this is fast forward.
That's
I can't
why.
tell.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that name sounds familiar, but
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What about the bow and arrow dude? I forget. I don't know that they said his name yet.
He's
Keicho.
Yeah, he's Oikeasu's brother.
What's his name?
Keicho Nijimura.
Oh my god. His name's Keicho Nijimura. Voice actor. Who dat? Jason Marnocha?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard him. Have I heard him? Jason.
I don't know. He doesn't last long in the series. Spoiler alert. So
I feel I had a feeling about that because like this seems like one of those things of like the immediate enemy in the beginning is never like the big bad, which I think is usually good for most shows to do.
Yeah. I'm trying to find any one that we.
He's that house husband guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of remember that.
It's Megatron.
Damn it! Why am I having such trouble with this?
Megatron.
No. One Punch Man.
He's Batman.
In what?
Wonder Woman Abridged.
Oh, okay. So he's like an internet voice actor who's like kind of like Team 4-Star. They end up getting like real roles every now and then.
For some of the stuff.
Okay.
I mean, he's in a lot of DC abridged stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan of some of those things. I kind of wanted to ask this because I know some of the JoJo parts get very long, and they're adapting everything from David Productions and that. So you guys are saying Stone Ocean's going to be 39 episodes. How many volumes is that manga? I'm like kind of trying to get like, are they going to catch up? Because I know, what's the 8th one? JoJo Lion?
Jojo Leon, yeah. They just ended.
That just finished. So what year do you think they're going to be ending part 8? I'm like trying to see like if they're going to catch up to the guy because he's very prolific and he keeps writing.
Well, the thing about it is that one of the animators, one of the heads of David Production, he was in an interview last year and he said, someone asked them about, animating part 7 because that's a part that almost every JoJo fan wants to be animated, and they pretty much said because most of the action in the early part is on horses, it's apparently very hard for Japanese anime to animate horseback riding, so they don't know how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, it is a lot of motion.
Yeah, so they might. Yeah. My guess is that just look at Western animation. Like I remember Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron by DreamWorks. That was a movie that was 20 years ago, so that was, they could look at that stuff. And
I mean, I'm sure there's ways to do it. They have, like, if they're, like, breaking it down by, like, whenever seasons are coming out, I don't know if they're going to, like, break the 39 episodes down to, like, 13, 13, and 13. So they might have, like, 2 years before they have to start doing 7. Yeah. Right? At least,
I guess. I mean, it all depends because part 1 and 2 they were released in one season. They came out from 2012 to 2013. Part 3, because they made it so many episodes, part 1 of part 3 came out in 2014. Part 2 came out in 2015. Part 4 they animated all in 1 year in 2016, and then part 5 they animated from 2018 to 2019. So.
Okay,
it's been a couple years since part 5.
Okay, so they had a bit of a gap, more than likely from COVID, or at least it was probably a contributing factor.
Yeah.
So that's coming out at the end of the year or beginning of next year?
It's coming out in December.
Okay, so
we just don't know how many episodes it is. Yeah.
Okay, but it's one of the longer chapters, isn't it? Of the overall story.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they're pretty consistent for how long the arcs are.
Okay, but arguably maybe 2022 into maybe a little bit of 2023?
I would guess so, yeah, probably.
Okay.
If you wanted to know how many volumes there are in Stone Ocean, there are 17.
Okay. I'm just like trying to figure out, is it because they're gonna keep doing this? It's a cash cow for them. They're not gonna stop. Are they gonna like catch up to the writer at like 2030 or something? Is basically what I'm wondering.
I mean,
and then what do?
Well,
they wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say they wait. Yeah, they
do something else.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they redo Fits to the North Star.
I mean, they did an OVA series based on one of the side. You haven't met him, but his name's Rohan.
Oh, that was on Netflix or something, right? Yeah. It was like an anthology thing or something?
Yeah, it was released periodically, and then they just grouped them together. It's based off a spin-off manga because that's Araki's favorite character, because that's basically an author insert character. Okay. And so they did that. And there's a couple spin-off books which people debate whether or not they're canon or not, but they could always adapt those.
I mean, if they wanted to slow down a little bit, maybe they'd do that between major seasons and arcs.
You would think so, but they didn't for part 5 because there's for part 5 they have there's like a novel that comes after the manga. Okay. And it's Purple Haze Feedback.
I mean, you never know, it might be coming out at some point.
And it's based on Fugo, who is the guy with the bunch of holes in his outfit.
That doesn't mean anything to me, man. I'm like, this is as far as I've gotten before. 3 episodes into part 4.
Okay. Well, it's about Fugo, and so they didn't animate that before part 6. So
Okay. I mean, you never know. They could decide on different things down the line.
yeah.
I just feel like this is like their biggest thing, and they probably don't want to leave like a giant gap at a certain point. Is all. Should we talk about what we watched? I feel
Yeah,
like
I was
we've
gonna
been
say,
just
we
kind of
did-
talking general show for a little while.
Well, we kind of did a reverse of what we
Yeah.
normally do.
Yeah, I mean, JoJo's a big subject at this point, so kind of got to cover everything before I guess we get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So this is kind of about just Josuke and Jotaro, who is Jotaro's uncle, because Joseph had an affair,
Yep.
and yeah, Josuke seems nice unless you talk about his hair, and then he'll rearrange your face, quite literally.
Yeah.
So what's his? What was the name of his stand? Something Heart, Gilded Heart.
Well, it depends on where you're asking because
We're
technically
here now. Whatever's
Yeah.
going on now.
Well,
I don't care what third level Super Saiyan version of his thing comes up.
No, it's all because of copyright. Originally,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's originally Crazy Diamond in the
Okay.
manga, but because of copyright, he can say it, but the subtitles have to be changed, so it's Shining Diamond.
So
Yeah.
wait, Crazy Diamond, which is that a song from somebody? I know this has been a thing for them in the past.
Yeah,
Crazy
it's a
Diamond?
song. Yeah, it's a song.
'Cause I'm
It's
like,
a song. It's called
I-
"Shine on You, Crazy Diamond" by David Gilmour.
Or Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah, that's probably what more.
well, they
were
probably
referencing.
like, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I usually do, for the most part, understand where a lot of these references come from, because like I was kind of raised on like classic rock stations as a kid. But yeah, so yeah, he can punch, well, like any good stand, can punch things super fast, but after he destroys something, can like fix it but rearrange it however he wants, so he can fix it back to normal, he can rearrange it into a different structure. He's kind of like an alchemist, a little bit. He's kind of pulling
Yeah.
like an Elric brother sort of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the healer of the group.
Mm-hmm. Can't heal dead people, though, we find that out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess since beating Dio, Star Platinum can now stop time, like the world could.
Yeah.
So, are Star Platinum and I
There's a very famous meme from JoJo where, like in part 3, they may have glossed this over a little bit in the original OVA, but in the David
Probably.
production, they made a big deal about Jotaro saying, "So it's the same type of stand as a Star Platinum," and that's when he realizes that he could also stop time, and
yeah,
that became
I was
a very
wondering
big
about
meme.
that
and- yeah,
because like I thought each stand was meant to be unique to whoever had it, and
yeah, that's kind of true. But I think Araki kind of wrote himself into a corner on how the good guy was gonna win, so he was just kind of like,
Okay.
oh, at least that's my
yeah,
guess.
I guess, you know what, when it was coming out, I'm pretty sure that probably worked very well. I think just retroactively as you keep going and like all the stands are totally different except for like these two, yeah, it just looks weird retroactively, I suppose. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, they're dealing with a serial killer, I guess, who is like on death row. Well, they're not dealing with a serial killer. They're just a regular killer, rapist, asshole named Angelo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who has a water stand that can go inside of people and rip them up or control them or do. Actually, he kind of reminds me of like he kind of seems like a combination of the the blind guy's actual water thing from the desert, and the fuck was the redhead's name? Green guy, Hierophant Green.
oh yeah,
Kakyoin.
Kakyoin.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a combination of those two a little bit. Like, you got the water element, you got the go inside someone's body element and control them sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting how they deal with it, like punching a hole in your mom's chest to trap it in a bottle and then fixing it before she notices anything. He does that a lot.
One of
Like,
many, one of many clips that can be used out of context in YouTube compilations.
I feel like I've seen that a bunch, like, show up every now and then on, like, my YouTube feed, like Jojo out of context.
It's great.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I don't really click it because I feel like at the same time, part of this is always like, I feel like I could watch this at some point, and I don't know that I entirely want to spoil myself all the time. I feel like at this point I do need to go back and like just rewatch 1, 2, and 3, but you know, I think for now I'm fine just with where we're at. The one thing I will say is that I'm always a fan of creative use of powers and imaginative fights, and I will say that Jojo usually comes out, if not number one, near the top in that sort of scenario.
Yeah.
You're fighting a water person who now it's raining and he's filled your house with steam. How do you do that? You swallow a glove and then repair it after he gets inside of you. You know, it's like, it feels like a fever dream, but it's a good fever dream, you know?
Yeah. Usually in shonen, I hate when, they take forever and, they explain, like, the whole plan of attack and just dragging it on. And sometimes JoJo does that, but a lot of times I don't mind that because, well, I think a lot of the charm of JoJo is that the heroes and the Jo Bros are always put in impossibly tough situations with these weird-ass stands. And a part of the fun is figuring out how the hell are they going to come out of this unscathed.
Yeah.
I liked it here because it felt explained but not over-explained. Like, whenever he pukes up the glove, you're like, okay, where did that come from? He's like, oh, I cut it up and swallowed it later. And, like, the fact that I already remember, oh, his thing is he can rearrange matter if he hits it or something, I can immediately get that all together. I think back when I was watching it a little bit in Anime Club, and whenever I was kind of seeing my roommate watch it, I wasn't into it because I would see something cool in part 1 and 2, but then they would spend the next 15 minutes explaining what I just saw. I'm like, I already got it. You don't got to do this. You're just padding the fucking runtime at this point, and I don't like that. I complained about that a lot with Naruto that one time. So I think that was part of the reason that I'm not as big of a JoJo fan right now. But it feels like at this point, they've kind of corrected that mistake a lot. You guys might know better than me, though. Do they over-explain a lot as the series keeps going along? Or is it the right amount?
Part 4, it's more... Like, Part 4 is basically... Most of its runtime is a weird-ass slice of life until later on in the series they get into the serial killer subplot, like the main villain, Kira, and then they just kind of explain that. Yeah, Kira. Yeah, like, I shit you... Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 5, I think, is... Part 5 is basically Part 3, except instead of traveling around the world, they travel throughout Italy in a mafia gang. And there is a lot of, weird-ass stands and them trying to explain what to happen. And sometimes the pacing can drag, but for the most part, I think they do a well enough job balancing it out because, yeah, they do. The heroes in Part 5 are basically like, how the hell are they going to get out of this? And when they actually finally figure it out, you feel smart with them.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that has been an improvement as the series went on. That does entice me a little bit more to maybe go back and take another look at this overall. Trying to think here. They deal with Angelo after he kills the grandpa because he drank cognac that was not cognac, and they turn him into a rock, a living rock, as permanent punishment. Is very creative. So maybe this is not a thing, and I don't really have to worry about it because it was just said by some like really weird dude, but it kind of stuck with me of like this whole... The Angelo guy is like kind of stalking Josuke after he intervenes at a convenience store robbery. And he brings up the fact that like oh, look at this kid. He's got a nice house and a hot-ass young mom that he can't even appreciate. I'm like, how does a son appreciate a hot-ass young mom? I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, and it just comes off super Freudian. And it's like, I'm not saying no one, but I feel like the majority of the people don't actually want to fuck their mom. But I feel like this guy probably did. And might have been pissed off that his mom wasn't as hot as Josuke's mom. And I think it's fine because it's like a line from a clearly demented person.
Yeah.
But they bring it up so much. And I'm just like, is this a thing for you? Why is this a thing? I feel like it's a thing with the writer because I'm just like, you would not be writing this line so much.
I mean,
he doesn't say it constantly, but it's like, it happens more than once. And that's enough for me to be like, why?
He wants you to know that Tomoko is hot.
Other people have said that Tomoko's hot. I that's fine. I don't need it in the context of the son needs to appreciate how hot his mom is and how lucky he is to have a hot mom. Why does that? I don't understand that. That's weird. That's really fucking weird.
Yeah, I thought it was weird too. I was like, he probably shouldn't think that way about his mom. Just saying.
Like, Spider-Man Homecoming, there were a number of lines about the fact that Aunt May is kind of young and hot. A little bit. She's Marissa Tomei. She's still pretty good looking. But it was always in the context of, oh, every adult around him wants to date her. It's not like, hey, Peter, you should get on that. That'd be fucking weird. Because it's his aunt. And this is his mom. I feel like I'm sticking on the subject a little bit too long. Just a really weird line that honestly I feel like could have been cut. Or just changed. Just like, look at her, she's so hot. Okay, cool, that's fine. Why do you have to make it about incest?
Yeah.
Anywho, there's also, I was wondering about this, because this is actually is really helpful because it kind of like answers some stuff for me. I was always wondering why there's so many stand users, and it seemed like in Stardust Crusaders, it was a bit more of a unique thing. Like, there was only a certain number of them, because they were, like, ancient spirits or something, but I guess it's just manifestation of the soul. I could be wrong in thinking what I was thinking, but now that we have that bow and arrow thing, and that makes... It can cause people to manifest, their soul to manifest a stand. I'm like, okay, this explains why there's so many more, and how Dio could get one, and not have one, 2 arcs prior.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's some good retroactive kind of fixing some things.
I will say, part 5, they do explain the origin of not only the bow and arrow, but stands as well.
They're not connected to, like, the stone mask and the jewel thing, are they? Or is it a different thing?
I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But they explain everything, where the bow and arrow came from, and why there weren't any stands during part 1 and 2.
Okay.
I actually really liked that, because I didn't know going into part 5 that they were going to talk about that. And I was like, okay, this is actual lore and world building for JoJo. Holy shit.
No, that's good, because, like, the fact is, like, a lot of these, like, things are coming from, like, ancient artifacts. Eventually you're gonna have to start explaining, like, part 2 explained the stone mask and stuff, I think. How it was, like, Aztec vampires or whatever. And, they do all that. So, yeah, you are eventually gonna have to have a larger explanation for these, like, soul avatar fighting spirit things. It's good. It's good stuff. I'm assuming. I can't judge it for myself because I haven't heard any of it yet, but at least good to know that it's being thought of more than just, hey, here's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think of anything else that, like, needs covered here.
I mean, we get introduced to Oikeyasu and his brother, and they take in...
Is that Handman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
My favorite.
Oiku. I can never. Is that how you pronounce his name,
Okuyasu.
Gav?
Okuyasu.
Okuyasu. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He becomes a very, very like he's basically the like Josuke, Koichi, and him are like the trio of Part 4 as far as like the new characters.
Yeah, I mean they were featured in the theme song pretty prominently, so I kind of figured that. I guess like Hand Guy is kind of like Kakuin, kind of like you start as an enemy, then I beat you up, and then you're my friend, kind of thing.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that's also the same way that Jonathan got friends with Speedwagon, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's just a JoJo rite of passage. You're gonna get your right hand man after you kick his ass.
Yep.
Is that how Joseph and Caesar got together?
Well,
Uh,
Joseph basically went to go train to be a stand user because
No.
he,
The Haman, the part 2.
yeah, that's what I mean. Joseph
Okay.
went to
Yeah.
go Joseph went to go get stand training, and Caesar was already an apprentice for Lisa, and they became rivals because
I think you're saying
Shonen.
Stan, but I think you mean Haman.
Come on,
Yeah.
damn it!
Yeah, no.
You knew what I meant.
The whole thing is Stans now, I know, but we should make that
Yeah.
distinction.
Yeah, he went to go get Haman training, and Caesar was already Lisa's apprentice, and so he was mad and rivalry
So-
because
So does that mean that the Nazi is the guy he beat up and then became friends with?
no,
yeah,
because
well,
him and Caesar become
I know they're the bros.
yeah.
So Joseph's the exception. Got it.
kind of yeah.
You know what? Jotaro makes up for it. He beats up 2 people and becomes friends with them. Because I keep forgetting Polnareff.
And also,
Yeah.
technically, Josuke never beats up Koichi, but I think Koichi
Well, he
becomes...
he defeats him, doesn't he? Am I
No.
not remembering this correctly? Like he fought a fight with him because he was working for Dio.
No.
No, in
No?
Part 4, Josuke with Koichi.
Koichi, I keep thinking the other guy, Kakuin.
Yeah, Kekuin, yes.
Okay,
In Part
yeah,
4,
so,
yes. In Part 4, in
God,
Part
these
3...
fucking names are all.
I know. Part 3, Jotaro beats Kakuin and they become friends because Kakuin was mind controlled by Dio.
Yes.
In
Okay.
Part 3, Adval
Yeah.
beats Polnareff and eventually
Okay, that's still
Polnareff
kind of the
joins
same
them.
thing of
Yeah.
like you beat a guy up and he becomes your friend,
Yeah.
kind of deal.
Yeah. Yep. Same with part 5.
I have no doubt. I'm sure one of them, like, not Dio, is gonna kick somebody's ass.
Oh, there is a main villain in Part 5, and oh boy, his stand. Oh boy.
So, I'm trying to think. What should we be talking about now? Did we cover everything? I don't feel like we did. I mean, maybe it was just because it was a very meandering episode, but not their episode, our episode.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing about JoJo is that you can technically spoil everything, but you can't really experience it until you watch it yourself. That's why the out of context clips are so popular, because you can show straight up spoilers, but it's so bizarre and random. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like you have
Why
no
is
idea
this
how
happening?
this could fit into a story until you're there.
I don't know, man. One of my good friends unfollowed me on Twitter because I spoiled part 6 for him.
Part 6 isn't
Did
out
you-
yet. How did you do that?
Did you spoil the ending for him, Gav?
Did you tell him actual
Yeah.
plot points instead of just weird randomness?
I didn't tell him anything. I retweeted something, and I guess it was like a spoiler for the ending of part 6.
Apparently, I can't follow you on anything now.
Well, I don't do that anymore, but
Okay.
yeah, I was reading it at the time, so I was like, I don't know.
Have you read all of the manga, Gav?
No.
What chapters, what parts have you read?
I've read most of part up through, well, I didn't read parts 1, 2, 3, or 4. I watched them, but I read part 5 before it came out, and I read part 6, and I've read most of part 7.
Okay.
So yeah.
And there is a part 9 coming out too. I forgot to mention that. They did at the end of JoJo Leon, Araki made a message and said, after a short break, I'll be coming back with part 9.
I mean, you've been like basically doing this whole series since the 1980s, and you like really haven't stopped. Yeah, let the man take a vacation. Like, I'm genuinely like impressed with like that he has kept this up, because like I'm sure he's gone on like short hiatuses here and there, but it like, has he ever taken like a long drop off between creating JoJo?
Well, the thing about it is that I found this out through my one friend who did some research. From parts 1 through 6, it was a weekly series. And then from like the end
Holy
of part
shit.
and then from the end of part 6 and then 7 and 8, it was a monthly.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's still though. That's like Stephen King levels of like constantly writing and working. Like that's
yeah.
you got to give him points, and like from at least, I mean, has the art or the writing or anything else ever taken like a dip
No.
or anything?
I mean,
That's just fucking impressive.
I would say from like parts 4 onward, at least the designs of the characters have definitely gotten a lot more creative. I mean, like
I
JoJo,
definitely noticed that. Yeah.
yeah, parts 1 through 3, you're right. It is very
Yeah, everyone's
muscular.
very Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. And
But
now
then
everyone
it's-
has like
yeah.
a little more. You're seeing a lot more. Actually, the only way I can really describe it is like everyone looks very androgynous at a certain
Yeah.
point in this series.
Araki,
They're very Versace.
yeah, I was gonna say his art has actually been featured in Gucci and Versace worldwide.
Yeah, no, I remember that, but like just the characters themselves, even like their faces and like
Yeah.
their bodies and stuff, it feels like both hyper masculine and hyper feminine at the same time. It's such a weirdly rare kind of combo. Like I don't know a whole lot of people can pull off, but he does it.
And I know when the manga first came out, they were all black and white, and then throughout the years they've been slowly trying to redo all the parts in color. So that's when you get all the crazy, designs and stuff like that. I don't know where they're at right now, but
I do remember you guys mentioning that when we were talking about like Kakyoin's like a brunette in '93, and he's a redhead elsewhere, right? Or am I thinking of someone else?
No, you're correct.
yeah.
Okay.
And like the main character in part 5, Giorno, how in the anime it's a pink shirt, they completely changed that. It was a dark blue shirt in the manga.
Well, that is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were just gonna be like, it's a light purple. I'm like, that's not that
No.
far off.
No.
Blue's pretty different.
I mean, hell, Jotaro was technically different. In the manga, his jacket was like a dark blue, but then they changed it to black in both adaptations.
I don't know that that's that big of a stretch. I feel like, especially if you look at like the history in like comics and stuff, and even like a lot of animation, a lot of people will use blue and black in a lot of like interchangeably a little bit, because like black is sometimes just like void like in like you look at Batman. Generally speaking, it's considered like he's wearing black, but like a lot of old comics will have him like wearing blue, because the black is for hair or outlines or something. Like he needs to look a little more distinct and like add shadows and stuff like that, and he's just gonna like really blend into every shadow, and you won't be able to see him in a comic thing. It might be a similar situation to that.
Wasn't like his first design in the animated series kind of like a little bit more colorful?
You mean the '92 one?
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
I know like it famously was like originally drawn on black paper, and they just like added color to it. But yeah, like even there, his costume is black. It's highlighted in like blues in the earliest version. They kind of switched it whenever they went digital after they were making the transition into like Superman the Animated Series and the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. Actually, this might just be the new Batman Adventures, but there was like 2 seasons there where they redesigned a bunch of stuff. At that point, he's all black and gray. But yeah, it's yeah. I don't know that. I'm just saying I don't think blue and black are that large, unless it was like a pale sky blue that Jotaro is supposed to be. But that just doesn't feel like it should be that for him.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of other examples of characters that are different, but a lot of times a lot of fans don't mind that. Like, I mean, there's some fans that complain, but for the most part, people like the redesigns. Like Giorno, people love the pink design on him.
I mean, I feel like you could... Everyone looks so crazy. I was gonna say unique, but like I feel like a stronger word needs to be said. Everyone is a little bit like on an LSD trip at a certain point with like some of the designs and everything. I'm not surprised that there's like could be 100 different ways that they could color these characters together.
Yeah.
Yep.
So would you guys, if you had the money, because I know all of us are poor, if you had the money, would you guys end up like wearing some of that Jojo Versace?
Oh gosh.
If I had the money, yes.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Some of those designs, I don't know if I have the physique to...
It's not about physique, it's about confidence. just pose. That's all you gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta say, there wasn't as many poses in this one as I thought there were gonna be.
Oh, don't worry. It's because you only seen the first 3 episodes. There's plenty of posing.
Are the first episodes like always like an easy transition in kind of deal?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little disappointed by that, actually. I was hoping for like craziness out the gate. I mean, we got some craziness out the gate, but hoping for full fever dream.
Yeah.
I will say, like, looking at the animation, like especially for this one, the whole thing does really feel like a different show almost to some degree than, say, Phantom Blood, and definitely way different than the 93 version. Like, just with the backgrounds and like a lot of the art style in it, it feels like a totally different show to me.
Every part, Araki designed the characters differently, and so with seasons 1 and 2, they kept the same animation, and then season 3, 4, and 5, parts 3, 4, and 5, they've changed the animation style to reflect that.
Yeah, but like at this point, it's like if I put Phantom Blood next to Diamond is Unbreakable, I don't know that I would find like sure some of the character designs, but like I don't know that I'd find a whole lot of similarities, especially with like their environments and their backgrounds and like a lot of the color palettes and stuff. This is a very like very bright, saturated show. And I don't remember it being that way early on. Or as much, anyway.
It looks like Dr. Seuss.
A little, yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's certainly an interesting ride. Do we have anything else we want to talk about in regard to this?
I mean, I know JoJo's not for everybody, but I'd say give it at least a shot. If it doesn't pique your interest, then it doesn't pique your interest. But I'd say there's a reason why it's so popular. I know there's some people that probably have never even seen the show and just only like the memes, but I do think genuinely it is a good show if you're in the right mindset.
Yeah. Gav, you have any final thoughts on it?
No.
Nope. No thoughts? Head empty?
Yes.
Gotcha. I might check out more of this at some point, but I feel like I do want to go back and see the full season of at least Stardust Crusaders. I might go back. You know what? I'll just start over with it because I do kind of want to see young Joseph again. He's a lot of fun. Anywho, next week we're done with our 2s, aren't we? I believe that we are. I think we're up to our number 1s. Specifically, we will not be doing your number 1 because we already covered Steins Gate extensively.
Yes.
Already.
Did a full
including the movies.
Rewatch. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not going to be doing Tokyo Mew Mew because we also did that one, so that's yours and Chibi's. So the only people with number 1s left are me and Gav. So, Gav, I'm going to need you to call heads or tails to see who's going to be going next week.
What's yours again? Cowboy Bebop?
Mine's Cowboy Bebop, and yours is Hunter x Hunter, I think.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how much we're watching of each.
I'd call heads or tails.
Tails.
Tails. Hunter x Hunter next week.
Okay.
So, now we watched 3 episodes of that.
Yeah.
For the Shonen Showdown. So, I suppose if we wanted, we could just call 4 through 6. we can just
Okay.
talk about it as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, you can certainly go off if you want. I did watch a little bit more of it. I haven't gotten probably like episode like 15 or something maybe.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll talk about that. Again, no Magia record this week or next week. You're gonna wait to see that with Star Wars Visions at the last Sunday of the month. And then after Hunter x Hunter, Cowboy Bebop. After Cowboy Bebop, Star Wars Visions and Magia record, and then it's spooky season for real. We're in pre-spooky season now, and we're gonna be doing spooky season. We got something special for you guys then. I'll let you know more later. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!